Overtake.gg is wrong about Assetto Corsa Competizione and Nordschleife. So the background is, Assetto Corsa Competizione is the official SRO game, so it only runs games that are part of the SRO roster. That's basically why the answer to when Nordschleife is always never gonna happen, because it was never part of the SRO roster. But here's the thing, on July 1st, SRO announced that the 24 hours of Nordschleife would be coming to the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Since Assetto Corsa Competizione already runs the IGTC, it is now possible that Nordschleife will be coming into Assetto Corsa Competizione. It doesn't mean that will come, that's a completely different thing. Overtake.gg, you probably know them, they have one of the most popular sim racing YouTube channels. They also have acquired Race Department, and in the past I have done a segment for them. They wrote an article called ACC Shouldn't Get the Nordschleife. Here's why. Now, don't go piling on them no matter what you think. This is a healthy disagreement. It's just a small debate with a little banter. You are also entitled to share your opinions in the comments, and you should. In this article, there are two main points that they make, and I disagree healthy with it. But most of all, I disagree with one specifically. And if you want to hear more hot takes, you need to subscribe to this channel. Let's go towards the first point, or the first main point, which is more technical. The first main point is that the track is huge, and therefore it's a huge expenditure of time and money to develop the track. Also, it is said that the track from 2015 can't be really used, from the one from Assetto Corsa, because the track changes so much, and this is true. Nordschleife is always being repaved, getting new pavement in segments. The track gets lower in some sections, higher in others. They get new gravities in the ground, and a lot of things change, and therefore they can't really use the old one. I get this part of the criticism, some of it is fair, but at the same time it feels a little bit hollow too. Of course, any track is difficult to do, but this one will be, of course, more difficult than most because the track is definitely huge. But because it is Nordschleife, it is a far easier sell than Snetterton or Valencia. It can be much easier sold at a higher price that people will still buy because of the status of the Nordschleife. After all, it's an iconic track. Competizione being in a different game engine doesn't mean that building a track or bringing it over from another game will be crucially different, like it is said in the article. For example, modded content crosses over titles that have completely different game engines, and this happens a lot. For example, the Assetto Corsa scene has started with lots of mods from R-Factor 1 and R-Factor 2 coming over from these titles into Assetto Corsa in the beginning. This is basically how it started. Of course, we are talking about Assetto Corsa Competizione and Real Engine 4 here, but if you have a keen eye and you start looking at the tracks from the beginning, or the tracks that were launched in the start of the game, like Nürburgring, you will be seeing that there are a lot of similarities, not only in the way that the track is in terms of meshes, but in a lot of assets. They're basically just ported over. And basically this makes sense. A lot of the things that you already have, you really want to use them because you just don't want to spend the time in one asset if you can't use them later down the line. Quite unlikely that Kunos or any game dev by any chance has basically boxed themselves out of using assets if they go into a game engine. They really want to use those assets as often as possible. It's also extremely likely, since Assetto Corsa 2 is coming somewhere in the horizon, maybe next year or so, it is also very likely that some of these tracks that already are in Assetto Corsa Competizione, or even the old Assetto Corsa, will be retranslated or ported over to Assetto Corsa 2, of course, with the necessary changes. So I don't really think that it's just a case of you can't use it because it's a different game engine. Hell, I've even seen cars ported over from Assetto Corsa Competizione into Assetto Corsa, so the other way around also works. Also, if the track does come over to Assetto Corsa Competizione, they wouldn't be starting at 0 Kunos. I know the track is different now on Nordschleife, but you don't really throw away what already you have. You can reuse a lot of the sections and you already save a lot of work. This makes far more sense than every time you move over engines, you start from zero. And that also means if you do it on Assetto Corsa Competizione Nordschleife in this segment for the 24 hours, it's likely that you are going to use that into Assetto Corsa 2 as well to sell it as DLC. The second point is for me the most important. It's the reason why I'm doing this video and also clicks, but you'll understand. It's basically saying Nordschleife doesn't fit in ACC. Not only would a long-term project setting out to create a Nordschleife hamper the team's ability to put out other content, the end result would be a circuit that no one uses and that doesn't fit the ACC bill. The first part of this argument, I can kind of understand. Yes, it's a huge track, and yes, it will need a lot of people to do it, but here's the thing. They don't need to make everything in-house. In reality, they don't make a lot of things in-house, and this happens with pretty much plenty of game devs. Plenty of modder teams already take work. For example, lots of modder teams take work for Automobilista 2. I've met a few of them. Hell, even a couple of Assetto Corsa cars come from mods. For example, the Ane Miata, that's a mod originally. Some of the modelers aren't in-house assets as well. They are contracted modders. A lot of the livery painters, well, they also take work. They are not in-house. So that means any game dev, and that includes Kunos, if they want to scale, they can scale. Of course, it will need to make sense for them in a way that if it's cost effective, that's one of the main points. And of course, depending on their philosophy of how much control they want to have on this, on how much they want to take inside house. But it doesn't really mean that because you have a different game engine or it's a long-term project, it doesn't really mean it's going to hamper a lot of things. It really depends of how much they want to control the process. The second part got me a little bit triggered. I mean, a circuit that nobody uses. It's possibly the most popular circuit in Assetto Corsa for online racing. It's definitely the most requested track for Assetto Corsa Competizione because it's so popular in Assetto Corsa as well. And it also features in real life one of the most popular, if not the most popular, GT racing event that exists, the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. A circuit that nobody uses. This is not Snetterton or Alton Park, it's the motherfucking Nordschleife. Yes, it's a hard track to race on. Yes, it's a track that can kill. That's part of the appeal, but none of those things are really an argument because we race already in very difficult tracks in this specific sim. For example, on the SRO Asia event in Bathurst, there was a massive lap 1 pileup with 20 cars and 11 had to basically bail out on the first lap. It happens. Races in Macau, real life, it happens. It's very difficult to race on. If it ever comes into Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I really hope it does, I will be like one of the first paying for it. It will likely be one of the most popular special events at Low Fuel Motorsports. It's basically something you really can't miss. If it ever comes to Assetto Corsa Competizione, that's another point. Maybe it's been developing in a while. Maybe the Kunos had the opportunity to know this business beforehand, and you know what, we can do this. Maybe, after all, Ares goes there every so often with his Miata. Maybe it's hard to implement for Kunos as of this moment because it is, after all, a massive track to implement and they have more important things to put out. Maybe they have deadlines they need to comply with, or maybe Assetto Corsa Competizione is at the end of its life. I don't know if it is or not, and they have Assetto Corsa 2 that is more important to develop content for. And I would suppose that developing Nordschleife at this point, if that's the case, wouldn't be so important right now because they want to get the game out and then only then develop a DLC for it. But saying the track is hard and it doesn't fit ACC, these are my opinions about this. I really hope it comes. Tell me in the comments if you want to see Assetto Corsa Competizione having Nordschleife. I would like to thank all the channel members for making this channel a possibility. And if you want to hear more hot takes, check the video, I think over here. No, over here.